Okay, so what we're looking at here is the clutch lever and assembly for a 2020 CB500X Honda. And what I wanted to do was put on this shorty lever so I could operate with two fingers and operate like that. And it's a pretty simple job, and I did the brake lever, and took a little bit of time, adjusting the bark busters, getting the throttle and everything in place, but not very long. So it came time to do this one, and there's a whole little procedure to it, not very difficult. But if you see this screw here, this is like the pivot screw. And in this case, this pivot screw is turning with the lever. In fact, this pivot screw is virtually welded to the lever through probably years of dust and grime, probably originally not a lot of grease on it, and the pressure on it from the lever being pulled constantly from the lever. So I first tried to, turn this out, and as you can see, most screwdrivers are not meant for this. So I fabricated a chisel, and I ground my chisel down so it would be the right width, so it would fit in here very nicely. Yes, I did take the nut off at the bottom, right? So I found other people that had similar problems where the lever is welded to the pivot bolt. Welded, moved together. So I actually leaned the bike down with the handlebar against the tailgate of my truck, so the full weight of the bike was on the tailgate, on the bar end, so it would be pretty solid, because if I push here, things want to move, right? So I had it there, and then I took a good crescent wrench, put it on here, and turned it as hard as I could, and boom, and you can see it kind of damaged the threads there a little bit, but it actually also broke this hardened chisel. Okay, so there's that. So then a friend fabricated this tool for me out of a bolt to do it. But honestly, it's riding season, and if I damage this assembly or the mounting bracket, then I'm going to be in bigger trouble. So I went to Honda, and for a mere, let's call it $26 or something, I bought the new replacement piece here for the assembly, right? And that was fairly straightforward. And I also bought the pivot screw, right? And I think that was like $6. Goes in there, and it's pretty straightforward to do it and mount it. I hope this will show it, but you'll see this thing turns and it's free of the pivot screw, so it's not welded, right? So I ordered that, got the parts in, then started to strip it down. I haven't done this, but in here are a couple of wires, and this is for your clutch lever switch. And once I loosen off the assembly, it's much easier to get to the wires, and you pop them off. They're two standard electrical connections. The issue is inside there is a switch. Switch looks like this. Switch is about $20, and it gets pushed on by the clutch lever here like that on this tab. The thing is, this switch has to go in from this side in this way. So I bought the first parts, started to take it apart. That's when I found out this switch had to go in from the inside. So I could try to Dremel and surgically remove this $20 switch from in there, perhaps without damaging it. I probably would have used $20 worth of Dremel tools to do this. So I just bought the switch and decided, you know what, I'm going to do the whole thing at once. So I would suggest to you, if you are starting to see this and your pivot screw is moving with your lever, if you can get it apart, grease it. right? Get it greased. If it is welded on there, then I would suggest you you think about what you're going to do, because I carry a spare clutch lever with me. Because adventure riding and I drop my bike and I'm out far remote, I thought carrying a spare lever would be a great thing to have in with my tools. And that way, if I broke a lever, I could replace it. However, I found out through wanting to put on a different lever that I would have never been able to do this in the field at all, because I just can't get that bolt out. So just something to look at, check, and whatever. Anyway, I'm going to put my lever on. Going to be a happy guy because I got the 3 parts I need. I didn't damage anything during my riding season and have to wait on parts that maybe were back ordered or something. So my learning was, check this out. Always good to carry a spare lever or whatever. And if you're going to repair it, get after it, not during riding season, or make sure you get all the parts beforehand. It was a switch that fooled me. Once I took it farther apart, I went back on the internet, I looked for somebody, and he said, hey, by the way, you're going to have to do this. So I just tried to put it all together here for you. I'll put a link in the description of the very first guy, because, I don't know, a whole bunch of people went, did you take the nut off at the bottom? Did you try penetrating oil? Did you try levering it like this? Did you try fabricating a bigger screwdriver? Did you try heat? I was a little bit worried to try heat on this. Once I get it all apart, I'm going to try everything. Put it into my vise and try to get it apart. But I wasn't willing to damage it during riding season without all the other parts. So I'm going to replace it and then see where I get to. And if I get anywhere, maybe I'll link it to this video. That's it for now. Bye.